Hello there people, Vestin here. I've been approaching this game like a reluctant lover approaches her partner. Every single time I was about to play this, and I was supposed to, believe it or not, I always had some excuse. Oh, I have work in the morning. Oh, my head hurts. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm just not in the mood. Oh, I'm washing my hair tonight. Absolute rubbish. Every single one of those was true, of course, but at the same time I never actually got around to playing it. Now, there will be no excuses. It might not be the best moment. It might not be perfect, but I've learned over the years it's better to actually get something done, even imperfectly, than to just postpone it indefinitely. Until the perfect opportunities arise, which they never will. I might not enjoy it as much as I would in perfect circumstances, but if I wait for those damn perfect circumstances, I will never actually get around to playing the game to begin with. So my commentary might be faulty, my enjoyment may be faulty, all sorts of things might be faulty. And I do this sort of intro pretty much every time now, but I'm willing to live with that imperfection. Hopefully, so are you, even though most of the time no one's actually watching these bloody things, at least to date. But I'm going to play this anyway. No more stalling, let's go. Okay. Are we in a restaurant? A bar? A diner? Sound of glass. Boulder, Colorado, 1975. Where am I? Who am I? How am I doing? You see Julia. Julia! Do I though? Am I supposed to click something? Or is this the entire playthrough? I could hypothetically just stay here and refuse to click anything. Okay, you see Julia. Julia, she's about your age, late 20s. Fair enough. Laughing with well-dressed professors and grad students from nearby CU Boulder. Okay. You, Henry, are out drinking with your pals. Okay. Remember, Julia, I'm Henry. CU Boulder, Colorado, 1970 something, 75, 76. I'm drinking with my pals. I see Julia, she's in her late 20s. I approach her. I don't have a choice in the matter. She's laughing with well-dressed professors and grad students. She's presumably out of my league. You are drunk. Oh God! Oh no! So what's your, major? Don't tell her she's pretty. That will increase her opinion of herself, which will make the task difficult. Want her to feel like we're awesome, more awesome than she is, that she's getting a good deal here. Being desperate is always a turnoff. So what's your, major? It's not the word major, and it smells like coos. You give an awkward smile. Evolutionary biology, she says, and I'm a professor. Cool. Fine, what's yours? She sniffs the air. Toxicology? Dude, getting intoxicated is a... Yeah, you're doing field research. Is that a burn, you ask? She says definitely. Worried she hurt your feelings. Oh yeah, that's gonna work. Pity is clearly the sort of thing that makes people attracted to you. Definitely. Worried she hurt your feelings, she asks you if you want to split a cheeseburger. 1 week later, you are Julia's boyfriend. How exactly did that transpire? How low are her standards exactly? Are we the last men on Earth? I don't buy this. I mean, fine, let's take this for granted and let's actually buy into the idea. Week later with Julia's boyfriend. Fine. I can use objects. Ooh, yeah, that's a backpack. I forget it was a chair. Why would there be a chair in the elevator? I'd like to interact with anything else, please. anything else, literally anything else. Anything other than the backpack. I would like to mess about with it. Fine. Can I toss it? Nope. I would just like to mess about with objects, you know, to get acquainted with the controls a bit. Can I mess about with the fire extinguisher, the broom, anything, please? Yeah, I know I'm supposed to head for the car, presumably, get the hell out of here, but no. How did... Am I somehow unblocking the light by moving like this? What? Something fishy going on. Do I have the radio? Do I have my notes? Well, yes, but... Well, yes, but no. I have the notes, but... They're empty. Load the gear. Get in the truck. No, I want to explore. And zoom in. Can I use my flashlight? I cannot use my flashlight. I can use my compass. Yes! Let's see. Let's head east. Yeah. Where's my map? I don't have a map. I really hope I bound things appropriately. Presumably there's space in the corner. I'm desperately trying to figure out what I had bound to the bottom mouse button. I checked a bloody moment ago, so it's a bit disheartening that I can't recall that information, but nonetheless, it is a fact. Fine, I'll load my gear and get in the truck, but first. Check those controls, otherwise it's just going to bother me. Camera. The camera is under this. There's read and hold. And the map is bound to a separate button. Unfortunately, clicking the map button just brings out the compass. For now. There you go, backpack. You date for over a year. She drives you absolutely nuts. It's great. Is it though? Oh yeah, that's in a positive sense, presumably. Presumably. You move in, you share an apartment near the school with a view of the mountains. You drink beers out on the deck. You drink beer just about anywhere. Life is good. Just follow the premise. Just follow the premise. Life is good. Fair enough. Let's assume that is good. Julia wants to get a dog. Oh no! I'm not ready for that sort of commitment. Or am I? Am I? There's a scruffy, undersized beagle. Julia is in love. She wants to bring it with her to class. There's also... oh yeah, she's in her late 20s. She's a professor. How is she a professor in her late 20s? That must have been some academic career she got herself into. Figured she would be... whatever. There's also an intimidating but gentle-eyed German Shepherd. Nothing bad could happen to Julia while walking this dog. It's badass. You adopt a shepherd and name him Mayhem, or you pick up the beagle and she names him Bucket. Well, let's see. Do I pick the beagle or do I pick the German Shepherd? Wow, this is a tough choice. Now, I appreciate the appeal of the scruffy beagle, but at the same time, I think I would go for the German Shepherd. They're nice, they're loyal, they're obedient. Let's adopt the German Shepherd. Mayhem's an excellent dog. He loves wrestling with you in the park, goes with Julia on her runs. Even though he's too big to bring to school, Julia loves him all the same. Mayhem is a friend, child, and pet, all rolled into one. You know, you could just procreate, that's also an option. 1979. You talk out on the deck. It's summer, 9:30 p.m. and the heat still radiates off the high desert. What do you think about kids, she asks. Ah, how appropriate. Way ahead of you. Kids. They're not very smart or good at much. That is correct. Much like untrained neural networks, they just suck. But they learn. And of course, the human species propagates itself in this particular fashion, and if everyone was to make the choice not to have kids, ultimately, humanity would ultimately become a thing of the past. And the world, in some way, according to some people, would be better off. There would be less pollution, and nature would just reclaim everything. Now, those people are, of course, naive as all hell because they believe that nature is something good, something nice, something innocent. Those people think nature is having a walk in the park, a well-maintained park where everything is safe, when they can dally about among the flowers. Nature is not like that. Nature is brutal, ruthless. Nature will kill you. And nature doesn't even have a grudge against you. It'll just brutally murder you, thoughtlessly. It doesn't care. It's cold and heartless. But yes, some people view nature as wonderful and innocent. I don't care much for those people. I don't really appreciate them, for they are naive Pollyannas. I'm saying if you and I have some. A couple little idiots. Well, let's see, how do I feel about it? That would be good one day while we're rush. I don't know this lady. I mean, he knows this lady and I'm him, so I know this lady, but I don't know this lady. My goodness, seriously? You're making me make such a commitment within a quarter of an hour? That's... I don't know, are these people ready to have kids? Are these people actually the sort of people I would want having kids? It's a toss-up, because the protagonist seems to be an idiot. Now, hopefully he doesn't really... Hopefully there's something good about him. Perhaps he's courageous, perhaps he's got a good heart. Perhaps he's a dedicated craftsman, whatever the hell he does for a living. Perhaps he is a good and loyal friend. Perhaps there are some redeeming factors, as far as he is concerned. And I appreciate that you might not have the impression that he's to be looked down on, but at the same time, from my perspective, he is, considering the fact that one quality that I value pretty much above all others is intelligence, and he doesn't seem to be endowed with much in terms of that. So already identifying with him is going to be laborious, to say the least. Fine, you miserable bastards. Have some kids, why don't you? That would be pretty good. We have a dog, we have a house, she's got good education, a career, academic pursuits. Let's go forth and procreate. In that case, we should probably get married. Yes, no, you don't want to bring any bastards into this world. Yeah, I would like that, you say. That's an interesting thing to say. Now, have you considered proposing to this woman to keep it traditional to some extent? Or are you just going to be dragged along in everything in some dazed haze? And just a benighted state of intoxication. Yeah, I would like that, you say. These kids are going to be screwed up enough. It's probably for the best that the parents are hitched. Top shelf. You say she's absolutely right. Keep doing that for the rest of your life. You might actually get somewhere. She seems to be, well, everything in this relationship. I don't know why she... I don't know what she sees in this guy. Maybe she's ugly as sin, and that's her sense of self-worth is horribly hindered due to a misguided belief that looks at everything to everyone. Now, I'm not going to dispute fire danger today. Low, mid, high. It's actually extreme. So remember, prevent forest fires. Now you'd think people would be dedicated to this task. Now you'd think that since division of labor exists, and since humanity as a whole has mostly progressed by actually dividing tasks up to individual people, and working together for the betterment of all, that people would be dedicated to the task of preventing forest fires. But I do happen to know there's only a single person dealing with such a task, and that is you. Because only you can prevent forest fires. I was desperately trying to figure out what the idiom is. I haven't done good what? I haven't done good something, I know that much. It's a hat. Yes, I can drop it. I can run around with the hat. Can I toss it over the barrier? I won't be able to pick it up. Oh boy. I don't want to lose that. I'm going to save. As pathetic as it is. I will, at the drop of a hat, drop the hat. Yeah, you don't actually throw it. Fuck. Said vested, holding the left mouse button. Proceeded to lob the hat into the distance. And prevented himself from ever picking it up again. Gee, that's great. Because you know what? You'd think that they'd put an invisible wall here. And then you'd be able to chortle at the idea, oh look, it bounces off an invisible wall, you can't actually drop your hat. No, you can be an idiot and drop your hat and be unable to retrieve it. Presumably it doesn't matter, but I'm going to reload anyway. This is not bloody StarCraft or anything. It really doesn't matter if I actually reload at this point. The safe scumming bastard that I am. Okay, so you can drop something by left clicking. You can pick it up by left clicking, you don't have to hold it. And then, if you hold your left mouse button, you can lob an object. Wow. Such a manly display of strength. Look at it go. Now, presumably that's not the most aerodynamic of objects, so it won't go far, but whatever. You can examine the hat. It says Cody, Wyoming. There's not much about it to look at. Oh god damn it, hold on. Yes, that's the button you click to equip it, but there's one other thing I need to do with it. The interact button. The interact button is the one you click to read things. alas, you cannot read the hat. Okay, I put on my hat. Lob it upon my head. I do like to take my sweet time with things. God, I've explored here. I've explored every single corner of this goddamn place. I should presumably proceed at a faster pace. Okay, this is the map. Where am I? Got to be a point that says, you're here. Nice little dot. Right? demonstrating where we are? Someplace? No? Fair enough. Do not forget to check in. Okay, no fireworks. You're in their country. Bear country. Learn to live with bears. Bear with me. Thoroughfare Trail is not recommended for inexperienced hikers. Don't worry, I've got this. Thoroughfare is a primitive backcountry trail. Why? Make a plan. The trail may be vague along several stretches and... Wait, what? Whoa, what's happening here? What the hell? Is there something invisible over here? You see this, right? Over here. Just right around here. Well, that's just peachy. Stretches and disappear entirely in some... It has many confusing side paths. Actually, zooming in makes things worse. The trail may be more difficult. Locating the trail may be more difficult than expected, and it is common for novice hikers to find themselves stranded at night without water, shelter. Make a plan, be prepared. Seriously. Why wouldn't you make the texture higher quality so that I can actually read the goddamn poster? There isn't that much to the goddamn game. You look at things and you explore. Seriously, make it legible. Of all the things. If I want to take my sweet time reading the poster, I want to be able to read the poster. Should be nothing preventing me from doing so. The whole point is to casually explore things. Don't make it hard on me. Really puts a man off. And I have everything set to max, so it's not like I have loaded inferior textures into the game. It's not like my resolution is failing me. No, everything is... 1980. It's a Thursday night and Julia is 4 hours late. She doesn't call. You're worried and getting angrier by the minute. She walks in after you've gone to bed. Okay, Thursday night. Why are you 4 hours late? You're cheating on me, aren't you? She's not quite drunk, but she's clearly been having a fun time. You fight when she gets between the sheets. You get mad! Let's see, what sort of a man am I? Do I ignore her? Do I get mad? There isn't an option to have a polite conversation and settle our differences using reason and mutual respect. Of course there isn't. Let's get mad, because we are the sort of person to fly into a fit of rage and act impulsively, instead of being passive-aggressive, I guess. Get mad! You call her an inconsiderate asshole. She tells you to fuck yourself and to not be such a baby. You call her selfish. She knows you mean it, and it hurts her feelings. Yeah, you're selfish by having fun. How dare you? 1981, Julia still likes to draw. She draws plans from her research. She draws all the places you go. She draws you. You pause and flex like He-Man, all you frolic like a Victoria's Secret model. He-Man, master of the universe, you look awesome. Well, at least you have something going for you. Okay, so presumably those are all memories. And we're just prancing about over here. It's bloody unbelievable how I've dreaded this moment. My goodness. Why? Seems to be no apparent reason. It's been literally about 2 weeks since the previous part. I have no idea why I've taken such a long break. I have no idea why I've dreaded this moment so much. It's a walking simulator. It's just casual exploration. There's nothing to dread. What was I thinking? Is this choppy? Doesn't seem to be choppy. So what is it? This impression I get of slight choppiness. Why am I lingering? It's the whole point is to actually... I'm doing a terrible job at walking, I think. It's a narrow path that leads forward. There really isn't much exploration to be had. You just walk onwards. At least for now. Yeah, whatever. I guess this is smooth. Why wouldn't it be? Two Fox Lookout Tower. 8 more miles still. Okay. Can I interact with this? I can zoom in. 2 Fox. Oh, let's see now. Shame I don't have a map, apparently. I was supposed to have a map. I can walk into the foliage, that's good. Presumably I'm headed for the lookout tower. I don't know, to watch the file. 8 miles. I have no idea how much that is. What is a mile anyway? Spacebar to climb over obstructions. I could look up the mile and find out how much that is. Of course I will look up a mile. Why not? It's not like I have anything better to do. Well, you have anything better to do. I can edit this out. Who cares? 8 miles in kilometers. Oh yes, give me 8 miles in inches, that's helpful. 8 miles, 12.8 kilometers. My goodness, it's worse than I thought. 12 kilometers, let's see, 0.8. So, this kilometer being say, then, let's say 15 minutes. And there being 12 of them, that's over 3 hours. If I don't meander to any extent. I can just go around this, can I? No, I cannot. Hop. There we go, very aesthetic of you. Oh, look, it's the sun. And now it's 1982. During the summers, you and Julia enjoy walking mayhem at night. We do? I mean, we do. There's a festival in town. Brings in folks from faraway places. One of them tries to mug you with a knife. Joke's at you, I have a dog. Mayhem runs away. She gets flustered and has trouble speaking when she is stressed. She's getting mugged, that's understandable. You confront the attacker. You scare him away or you beat his goddamn face in. Oh, let's see now. He's got a knife. I guess attempts at intimidating him instead of gaining a physical advantage might be ill-advised. Because best case scenario, you succeed and he runs away. Worst case scenario, you get stabbed by trying to just intimidate him. Hey, I am a scary man. You may have a knife, I will grant you that, but at the same time, I am mighty and powerful. You had best beware. Flee while you still can. No. Let's beat his face in. Smashy smash. Your arm gets cut up. I know, defensive wounds. I get that. But you know, the alternative is you die. It's better this way. Your arm gets cut up, but you beat the guy to a pulp. Success. Bet you won't do that again, will ya? You don't feel very tough. You know, I'm not doing this to feel tough. I'm doing this because it's the thing that needs to get done. This is literally a life and death sort of situation. But that dog has disappointed me. That dog has failed me. You had one goddamn job, dog. You don't feel very tough. You cry your eyes out before the cops show up. That's okay. That's fine. The situation has been handled. That's what matters. We're not doing this as a goddamn hobby. We're not looking for muggers in the night to show us their knife collection. Possibly a single one, whatever. We're doing this to survive. Protect our life, liberty, property. Julia asks you to take a different path from that day forward. Okay, what do you mean by a different path exactly? To reject violence even when confronted with, you know, a knife. You say, okay, you don't want to go that way either. As in, so what exact mistake was made here? I understand that there might have been excessive force involved, but at the same time, what do you do in such a scenario? Do you not actually use physical force? What do you do? As far as I understand it, it's not like you're in a situation when you can easily just forsake violence altogether, because you're not the one to initiate it. It's not like you can just figure, okay, I'm no longer interested in having this interaction with you. You have offended me, I am going to walk away. So yeah, using excessive violence and just beating the guy up once you ultimately eliminate him as a threat, once you disarm him, etc., overpower him, is presumably not the way to go. But at the same time, you know, just trying to intimidate him might not necessarily work out to your benefit, might not do you any favors. Because why the hell would it? He's not there to have a conversation. And once again, it may work out, it may not work out. But if it doesn't work out, you're even more screwed than you were before. Because instead of engaging in a physical altercation, you've rolled your intimidation. And if it fails, he's going to be even more pissed off. Because you did not comply with his request to hand over your valuables. You confronted him, and you failed to make an impression on him. He's, you know, you're in for a bad time. From then on, you walk by the river. Julia asks you to take a different path from that day forward. That's literal. I have no clue why I misinterpreted that, but I'm glad I take so long to read these out to actually comprehend them in the very end. She literally asks to take a different path when walking the dog. It's not metaphorical, it's very literal. Just take a different path. Let's walk by the river when walking the dog. Also, the dog is a failure of a dog, and he does not deserve to be called Mayhem. 1984. Plans to have kids get waylaid by work. Do they ever? But I guess these are the responsible adults. The plans do get waylaid. They don't make decisions in spite of that. Julia gets offered a job at Yale. Yale is in Connecticut. Is it? Whatever, maybe it is. 2,000 miles away. It's a great job. Associate Department Chair. Woman who wanted to be a chair. Fancy that. No, I guess ordinarily that's being a chairman or a chairwoman. But as far as I understand it, in newspeak, you call that sort of person a chair instead. Not chairman, chairwoman, or chairperson, just chair. It's ridiculous, but that's what people do. Department chair. I get chairman, I get chairman Mao. I don't think we've gone far enough to say chair Mao, although I may live to see the day. If I say hopefully I won't. You may interpret it as a death wish, but whatever. Anyway, Associate Department Chair. She wants to move, you absolutely do not. I'm sorry, you absolutely do not? I absolutely not. Why? What exactly is keeping me wherever the hell we are, in bloody Utah or whatever? Can't remember where we are, but it's ultimately, presumably a very regularly shaped state with not much going for it. And as far as I understand it, we don't really have amazing qualifications, prospects of employment in any appreciable fashion, in any respectable position. What exactly is this guy's problem? You absolutely do not. I have a very difficult time empathizing with the protagonist. I'm sorry, presumably this will happen again and again and again. I am trying my goddamn best. But we'll yin and yang here, we'll polar up. Yin and yang is arguably the worst analogy I could have gone for here. With polar opposites. That's not me. I'm trying my best here, but that's not me. You absolutely do not. Convince her not to take the job. No! Agree if she commutes back and forth. God damn it, this is a brilliant opportunity. And what exact reasons do you have for her not to follow her goddamn dreams? What exact reasons do you have not to be supportive of your goddamn wife's success? She's been offered a brilliant opportunity. Those things don't just happen all the time. They don't even happen yearly. This might be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for her. And you want her to squander the goddamn thing because of what? Because of her unwillingness to move? For what reasons exactly? Is there any reason that is actually there? Can we discuss the reason? Can we actually have an adult conversation where we figure out what our positions are, what we want out of life, what we are trying to accomplish every step of the way? No, no! There is no such thing. He just wants a thing, and she wants a different thing. And now we are to convince her to not move. For no good reason whatsoever, but purely to resolve conflict. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. I don't know, maybe it has been elided. Maybe there is a perfectly reasonable explanation that I'm just not given. Narratively. It's eluding me. Because it has been elided. Why do I take so long on these screens? I was so chary to actually approach this game again. Because I figured, oh, I would just not be, up to snuff. I would not be ready to actually add valuable commentary to the playthrough. Well, you may agree if you think the commentary isn't really adding anything valuable. But I am yapping on. Agree if she commutes back and forth. This is the better option. I'm not going to convince her not to take the job, and presumably, if I make this half-assed suggestion of a bizarre compromise, she's going to give up anyway. Which I hate with a passion of 1,000 suns. But I'm going to pick this option anyway because it's the lesser of two evils. My goodness, Logos save me. I agree if she commutes back and forth. Okay, fine. You ask her if she'll commute back and forth. You don't want to move to Connecticut. She says that'll be hard, but she'll do it if you won't move. Thank you. Okay, we're getting somewhere. She really wants it, so she's willing to go for this sort of compromise. My goodness. He's an idiot. I'm an idiot. We're an idiot. I would presumably be wise to stick to a convention. Every time I read the text, it's going to be you. And unless I want to paraphrase what's right in front of me, it's going to be you whenever I read it. So I could say you, but that's bizarre because that's not you. I could say he. I could say I. But then you lose the distinction between me, and me, him. I could say we, but that's arguably the most confusing of options. So presumably I'm going to pick it. Why the hell not? Because that's him, and that's me when I'm him, so that's us, I guess. You ask her if she'll commute back and forth. You don't want to move to Connecticut. She says that'll be hard, but she'll do it if you want to move. You tell her not to pass it up if it's what she wants. Thank you. She agrees. She flies back to Boulder 3 times each semester. Excellent, we are growing apart now. Looking forward to our divorce. She inevitably meets someone there. 1985. I'm sorry, what is this game? Seriously, I thought we were to explore all this nonsense out there. Is this just the beginning? Because we are rapidly approaching the present here. Seriously, time flies. Is it... presumably that's just the beginning of the goddamn game, considering that I am at the beginning, even though it has taken me enormous swaths of time to get here. Julia is sent home from Yale on paid leave after having an episode. I'm sorry, what? She lost an alcoholic for borrowing books that were important to her research. She didn't remember she had happily loaned them to him just 2 days prior. Oh wow. Dementia hit her hard. Alright, so something to keep in mind is that Julia is mentally ill. Which is hardly surprising considering that she decided to shack up with a loser like us. Now it all makes sense, now it all falls into place. It's like, why exactly would she be interested in a guy like this? Well, that's because she's sufficiently insane. That's the reason. I don't know, maybe it's a casual mental breakdown that happens to the best of us, to the sanest of us. Or maybe, just maybe, it's but a symptom of a far deeper running problem. Okay. She's sent home, unpaid leave, which forces us to spend time. She was found crying in the stairwell. Okay. That may not be the optimal solution to the problem of loaned books, but at the same time, having watched a decent bit of true crime videos, there are other things she could have done. She could have stabbed him to death or something. So it's not that bad. You say that maybe you guys should talk to someone about it. Or you make macaroni and drink wine and try to forget about it. No, hold on, Missy. You may just need psychiatric aid. Now, if there is no problem, then that's fine. You go out there, have a tiny chat, we have a laugh about it, and life goes on. However, if this is a symptom of a deeper problem, then we nip this thing in the bud. We solve your problems, and we make your life better. There are no downsides to trying this. No downsides whatsoever. Now, we could stigmatize mental issues, and there's a reason to stigmatize them. Of course there is. Of course there are reasons to say that mental illness is bad, because it is. It's like anyone wants to be mentally ill. It's objectively bad. But we can do things about that. We can make the world a better place. We have to acknowledge that it's something undesirable, first and foremost, and then we have to take steps to improve the situation that we are in. Not close our eyes and pretend that everything is fine. That is not the way. After seeing multiple doctors and having many tests, they are worried that Julia might be suffering from early onset of dementia. She is for... I never signed up for this. I never did sign up for this. That's bullshit. Seriously. No. I wanted this to be a light-hearted experience where I just make fun of the possibility of my fictional wife having dementia. Then sign up for this shit. I don't want her to actually have dementia. This is going to be debilitating in all sorts of ways. For her, for me. You both decide to keep it a secret for now. But in hindsight, it reinforces my idea that explains her questionable judgment throughout all this time. Of course it does. Like, why would she go for a loser like us? Oh, that's because she has dementia. Oh boy. And now for the forest part, right? Yes. Am I... What? Why do I not have the freedom of movement to... Okay, I understand. I have to pick up the... I'm going to stargaze for a while. I'm sorry. Butterfly! Butterfly! Where's the butterfly? Where did the butterfly go? God damn it. Stargazing. Peaceful. Alright, fine. Since I do not have alternatives, I'm going to pick up the journal. He-Man. Okay, which but no, hold on, no, I wanted to invest in no. Mayhem is getting all. Oh, now now I'll have to kill the dog. That failure of Mayhem is getting older. He's got silver hair down his back and slows down at night. You and Julia walk him to the bar to see your friends, and it feels like nothing has changed. Julia goes back to the university. Maybe there was more to the journal, maybe there wasn't. Julia's affliction gets worse. 1987. Of course it does. It's not like... She can't remember things in class. Her research is in shambles. She can't keep it up. She can't keep it a secret. It's just not gonna happen. It's just not viable. It's not a viable career path to be a goddamn researcher with dementia. It's these sorts of intellectual pursuits are not going to... There's very little that she can actually do in those sorts of circumstances. But most white-collar jobs are just either impossible or horribly difficult. Wow. Julia's affliction gets worse. She can't remember things in class. Her research is in shambles. She drives her car to the next town over for no particular reason and has to be brought home by the police. She is devastated. She is sent home on permanent medical leave. Wow! I wish I had something insightful to say at this stage, but I have said enough already. Some days you get the Julia who calls you a dope and your unborn children little idiots. Oh, that's great! Yeah, let's perpetuate this issue a bit, shall we? It's genetic, I mean. That's lovely, that's magnificent, that's exactly the way to go. That's okay, people, though. She may suffer a miscarriage. It's not all doom and gloom yet, right? There's no good way any of this can go. Goodness. Other days you get a stranger. Yeah, no kidding. Let me guess, there's nothing that can be done, is there? It's not like we're going to go out into the mountains to find a mystical herb to create a concoction that'll turn her back into her usual self. It's not like there's anything that can be done. So let me guess, she's dead when we are wandering these mountains, isn't she? You tell her family, they are crushed, and begin to make trips to and from the home in Australia to visit her. For a while, your friends come by and with little things to brighten the day. She gets worse. Excellent. And of course, as you read this, you can already anticipate where this is going. Okay, yeah, her family visits. Friends come by, try to help. They will stop. The family will stop visiting, the friends will stop visiting, and her condition will get worse. Like, nothing here is getting any better. Nothing. Wow, this is exactly what I needed in my life, I guess, now. Exactly the sort of thing I should be playing at this stage. Awesome. She gets worse. Yeah, forest part? No, more narration. You spend your days following Julia around the house. Really? That's how you spend your days? Quite the man of the house that he is. Isn't there anything really... employment prospects for this gentleman here? No, apparently not. I'm going to have a fit if this does not get recorded, by the way. Presumably it is, but you never know. You spend your days following Julia around the house. You count the seconds between the 2 weekly visits from Daniel the nurse. He suggested Julia could live somewhere else, somewhere with 24-hour care, a home. It sits with you for a couple of months. Okay, dude. Okay. Now, you could spend the rest of your life like this. She is going to spend the rest of her life like this. There's not really much of a choice. Now, you can either decide that she ought to receive professional care and be handled by people who know what they are doing, or you could figure that you have an obligation to her due to the days of your history, etc., etc., and you could, in your amateur capacity, try to do what a professional would do better, with the benefit that ultimately you have a personal attachment to her, which may or may not mean something to her at times. It sounds quite cold-hearted and quite uncaring to just... What verb am I looking for here? I know, just hide her off someplace, out of sight and out of mind. Put her into those caring hands so you don't have to worry about her personally. But at the same time, is that a bad option? Is that not the way to go? Because as far as I understand, she does need it. She does need the care, and we are counting seconds between the bi-weekly visits. Yeah, bi-weekly in the sense that they happen twice a week, not in the sense that they happen every 2 weeks. It's not like she'll ever be capable of making it on her own. And obviously there's the argument that maybe we deserve a second chance at life, maybe we deserve to figure something out for ourselves, or, you know, we could just resign ourselves to the situation and go down that sort of route. I'm not sure that's going to help anyone in any capacity, but we sure as hell could do that. You decide to move her into a full-time care facility, or you are determined to take care of her by yourself. I decide to move her into a full-time care facility. Bye-bye, Julia. I don't care what you think of me. Not what Julia thinks of me. Not what Julia, the fictional character, thinks of me, but what you, the viewer, think of me. Yeah, that's much better, isn't it? That's a brilliant thing to say at this stage. But at the same time, it kind of is true. Okay, maybe it's not maybe it's not true in the sense that I actually genuinely don't care what you think. It's just that I think I'm right in these sort of circumstances, and whatever assessment you may make of me at this particular stage, I think may just be wrong and misguided. Although, you know, you may have a point, and I'm willing to concede that point if I am proven wrong. The point of it is, to put a nicer spin on it, the point of it is that I am not just going to give in to, well, the sort of emotional pressure that would exist to choose the option that seems more compassionate on the surface, narratively. And that comes at pretty much no cost to me whatsoever. After all, I'm just playing a video game at this particular point. Why the hell should I be invested in long-term consequences for the protagonist as far as these sorts of decisions are concerned? And at the same time, very cheaply, I can end up seeming like a good, compassionate person. But no, I'm not going to do that. That's extremely cheap. In that sense, I don't care what you think. It's not that I genuinely don't care what you think. It's just that I am not going to act in such a fashion so as to desperately seek approval for the sorts of decision I may not necessarily make in real life, and I may not judge to be the correct if I were to be put in that sort of situation. I'm not going to desperately seek other people's approval by making superficially correct decisions. It's a bit of a pattern, isn't it? I don't like superficially correct decisions. I hate naivete. It's been a bit of a pattern with me. If there's one thing I really despise, it's naivete, especially in the hands of people who can make a difference. It's a dangerous thing. Her family agrees with your decision. You find a fantastic place in Boulder and move her there. You see her every day, then every other day. I expected as much because ultimately, yes, even if you move her into a permanent care facility, that doesn't mean that you cannot visit her. That doesn't mean that you cannot spend time with her. You can spend all the time with her you want. Possibly, I don't know what the rules are at that particular place, but for the purpose of the argument, you can. Or, if there are some limits, you can work within those limits. You can spend every moment with her that you can. Or you cannot. So ultimately, the previous decision, the decision to place her there, isn't the decision that's really damning here. That's not the point. Because you could struggle like hell to take care of her personally. Is there more glory in that? I don't know. Is there really? In trying your best at something you may not be particularly qualified to do, just because you view it as a personal obligation you have? Or perhaps should you hand some of those responsibilities over to people who know what they are doing so that the result is actually better when she's in care of professionals, and you can do what you can do as far as you are concerned by visiting her, spending time with her, etc. Ultimately, do you care about your self-perception, your sense of self-worth, and your idea of being a compassionate person? The perception of others, how they see you as a compassionate husband? Or do you actually care about that woman in her actual state? How she is and how she is taken care of? Because what may seem compassionate from the outside, and what may make you look like a wonderful, compassionate husband, may not necessarily be what is genuinely best for her. And that's the sad truth of the situation. But what happens here is more notable and very prosaic at the same time. Okay, so he sees her every day, then he sees her every other day. And obviously, as time goes on, he's less and less inclined to actually spend time with her. Would it have been a better choice to actually keep her around and take care of her personally? Would it have? If you can't even make the effort to visit her reasonably often, like every day, to spend time with your goddamn demented wife, would it have been better just to put pressure on yourself so you do the right thing? Is it more glorious to do the right thing because you put pressure on yourself that you choose to put on yourself personally? Or is it better to have the choice and to make the choice? And to thus be virtuous in such a fashion? Or to falter and, well, do this. I'm glad they didn't haul me off to the forest right now. Also, I haven't seen Jack by this point. I've been led down a single goddamn path. I've played Kolat, where I had a map and a compass, and I visited quite a few places. I don't expect this to be an open world RPG, but at the same time I figured I would have the map, I would have the compass, and I would visit things at my own pace, potentially. I get that this might be the beginning of the game, but at this point we should probably get into something, right? There should be some progress, there should be some freedom offered to me. Or is it that the narrative part first has to end? I will find all these answers shortly if I just go through the damn game, presumably. This is even worse because I've watched a few LPs where I've seen exactly this sort of thing happen. People would go at length about the sorts of things that could or could not happen, wondering and speculating, and I would just look at the screen, tempted to yell, just play the goddamn game, the answer to your question lies 5 minutes ahead, just find out, instead of speculating idly. You go out to the bar with your old friends. Is the dog dead by this point? Doesn't matter. It's not the same. You get the feeling that every wife tells her husband, if you ever... Oh God, oh yes, of course. Yeah, we're in disrepute right now. It's not like I have a speech impediment. I don't necessarily have to do these things. Anyway, you get the feeling that every time, you get the feeling that every wife tells her husband, if you ever put me in a home like Henry did, I will cut your balls off. No, you won't, because by then you'll be a demented shell of a woman. You still decide not to see your old friends that much. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, dude, take a hike, literally. Okay, excellent. So the dog is old. It's either going to die soon or it's dead already at this particular stage. The wife is all demented in a care facility. My friends. These are supposed to be my friends. And this is the most significant thing that happens? That because of what the wives tell them, because of this decision I have made in my private life, they figure, well, I'm going to treat you a bit differently now. I've made this life choice that I find somewhat disagreeable, and therefore our personal interactions from this point on are going to be, out of necessity, horribly awkward. We can't look past that single event in your goddamn life. We're going to judge you negatively for it, and you will actually prefer to not see us because we can't interact the way we used to. Wow, this is some friends I had. We had. He had. Okay, let's not see the friends. It'll kick me out to the forest next right now, right? No. About 3 screens per forest path. Julia's sister Susan moves to Boulder to be close to her. Wow. Yeah, we're a horrible guy, aren't we? She visits her every day. Yeah, that's lovely. I mean, we could always ask, okay, well, you before, doesn't matter, she's here now. Okay, we're not visiting the wife all that much. So, we failed in that capacity. Our friends no longer want to talk to us. The sister's going to point her finger, how could you have done such a thing? Even the dog is gonna hate me. I lie awake at night watching the dog watch me. Yes, and I cry myself to sleep in shame. She visits her every day. You go with her some of the time. That's great, dude. That's great. Susan buys you an old typewriter and urges you to use it if you won't see a therapist. You won't. Oh, I see. There's a whole nother angle to all of this that I have failed to consider and elaborate upon that gets brought up here implicitly. All these people are judging the guy negatively, right? They're looking down on him. Oh, what a terrible husband you are. You're not visiting your wife over there. You put her in a care facility, which clearly is not what you're supposed to do, right? You ought to struggle, and even if you provide worse care, you ought to do these things yourself. Here's another angle. This guy is going through hell, right? He's had a terrible experience. Horrible things have happened to his wife. And ultimately, as much as she is the most direct victim of all of this, and she's in the worst of positions, but to a large extent, she's... I don't know how much... I don't know how aware she is of that at this point. She might be, she might not be. It might be a horrifying experience. But, obviously, through the relationship, he is also a victim. He's also struggling. He's also in a terrible shape emotionally, presumably. He refuses to see a therapist. Of course, everyone hates him for doing what he is doing, for handling it the way he is handling. And it's a terrible burden that he must bear. So in 1989, the wife's sister buys him an old typewriter. Will you type anything up, dude? Will you? You've always really liked Susan. Months go by. Mayhem dies. Oh, by the way, the dog is dead. Julie doesn't remember him when you tell her. Sometimes it takes her a minute to lock in on you. The back of your mind, you believe it's because you see her less and less. You could always visit her more. What's stopping you? What do you do for a living, dude? And seeing her less and less makes her forget you more, you think. Well, you can always break the cycle. There's nothing stopping you. Summer is coming. And you see an ad in the paper for a job. Well, gee, that sounds like an idea. You take it. Yes, please. Am I some sort of a... I don't know, a forester? Enter the lookout tower. And the forest lookout, am I... There we go. Here is the map. Where do you wish to go? Now, as far as I understand it, I've turned on the marker that shows me where I am. I could always turn that off. Yeah, I'm not necessarily sure whether I want to make things more difficult for myself or not. There's a multitude of things I could do. Obviously, exploration would become a smidgen more difficult if I were to enforce these sorts of things upon myself. Is that the way to go? To make a game that's already very easy, a bit easier still? Or should I make it a tad more difficult? To potentially get lost in the forest. I don't know. Perhaps I ought to enter this silly lookout tower instead of, you know, meandering over here. I don't know. All this time I was led down a single path. Forced to take it. In a very straightforward fashion. With no forks in the road. Well, aside from the narrative forks in the road. Oh look! A lake! This is nice. And what's that? What's that yellow thing? Come on, jump. There we go. Hop onto the next one. Over the log you go. Don't want to get your booties wet. Up and over and check out the yellow thing. What is that? 307, eh? Yes, I know. So when you open the map, you see the objective. I have no notes, no documents whatsoever. So that's the lookout tower, that's the path I've taken. This is cache 307. Presumably it contains some supplies. Yes, fascinating. This is the lookout tower. Are there more lookout towers like it? No, it does not appear to be that way. Look, this is the lookout tower. This is presumably more fascinating for people who haven't played the game. And obviously this is quite fascinating for me because I haven't played the game or watched anyone play the game yet. There's a single lookout tower. There's another lookout tower out there, but it's not on the map. So let's just say that there's a single one. There are caches spread out all the way across this area. Yeah, there's something over there to the east, as far as I understand it. There's the Jonesy Lake. This is the Ruby River that we have just crossed. This is not a lake, not a pond. This is a river. That's a lake. Quite a nice one. Ooh, there's Lake Trail over there. Another path still. There are a few paths from the watchtower, but what I have gone down is not a path. Well, it is a path in a sense, isn't it? It's just not... it's just not a path that's necessarily marked on the map as a path of some description. So presumably those paths are not paved in any sorts of ways. But some of them are more official than others. Some of them constitute trails. There's the telephone line there, presumably. There's a list of adjacent regions. Okay. Might as well go to the watchtower now then. I think I'll get the opportunity to explore freely. At least a bit. So I might as well take it for all it's worth. I might as well freely explore. It's not like I have better things to do. Oh look, a butterfly. Wait, what the hell? No, that's a firefly, right? Seems to glow in a very weird fashion. In a very dotted fashion, in a very discreet fashion, you'd say. Did I just witness a firefly fly straight into the terrain? Oh, fireflies, you silly things. I did not expect you to be incorporeal, but what do I know about fireflies and their habits? Apparently in these strange lands, they can go through solid surfaces. Well, you live and learn, I guess. New things every day. Presumably to open these caches I'm going to need some sort of a key, and presumably that sort of a key is contained within the watchtower. I also am supposed to have a camera at my disposal, but I do not have one yet. This is it, I think. This is the watchtower. Although I will visit... Is this an outhouse? Looks like one. Sounds like a pan... No, this is the power generator. This is the outhouse. Yep. An old baseball. Okay, we examine it with the right click. It's a baseball, and it is old. No! Not again! Okay, this is the read button. You can't read the baseball. This is the read button. I picked up the journal. I did not read it at the time. I hope I managed to find it again. Why was that dumb? I did not click read. I did not click take. So that was a horrible experience, and I wish I would have it again. Why can I not take the baseball? I want to take the baseball. Can I only examine the baseball? There's not much to examine about the baseball. Fine. I'll drop the baseball. Nothing to really discover about the outhouse. Where did the baseball go? Oh, there we go, there we go. You know what? Oh, don't throw it, don't throw it. Frankly, I want to put the baseball inside the outhouse so that I don't lose it. It's like a storage unit at this particular point. Is that propane? Or butane, whatever. There doesn't appear to be anything of note. Anything I can investigate about the generator? Why is the generator here? What is it generating exactly? Presumably electricity. But for what? I get it. I generate what? Oh boy. Examine this guy. How are you, little guy? Well, you seem quite yellow this day. Can I read you? I can't read him. Can I take him with me? Well, I can't quite, you know, shove him into my inventory, as one would. Oh yeah, that's beautiful, dude. That's magnificent. I would like to prop him up more properly, but alas, that does not appear to be much of an option. I'll prop him up against the outhouse door. All I will just wedge him into a solid surface. That's fine by me as well. Why am I doing these things? I have a straightforward objective, and I can push the narrative along by just following directions. Oh, that's right, because I'm a gamer. Of course, if I am given directions, I do the exact opposite thing and everything else other than what I'm supposed to be doing. It's that type of personality. It's a habit you develop because you get consistently rewarded for doing the thing, for doing everything, well, almost everything, other than the thing you're explicitly told to do. So, of course, you get a platformer where you're supposed to move right, you move left, and you find stuff. So, of course, if we've experienced a lifelong journey of going the wrong way and being rewarded for it, we are going to go where we are allegedly not supposed to go, but where we are actually supposed to go. A cistern, eh? Presumably containing rainwater? I don't know. A spigot! I don't know. I've heard spigotry is a horrible thing. Hop? Really? Alright, one hop, skip and a jump into the interior of the watchtower. Have I accomplished anything by doing this? I can hop over to the other side. There's not much of a purpose in doing so, but by golly, it can be done. Or you can just walk over these parts. That's also viable. When climbing these rickety wooden steps, I will not run. I have a bad feeling about this. Yeah, what are the odds of this actually crumbling underneath me? This is the very beginning of the game. They wouldn't do such a thing to me, now would they? Or would they? Do you have a fear of heights? I presumably do not. And yet, at the same time, this does not seem like the most rigid of structures. It seems very flimsy. Silly little wooden thing. Oh boy. Here we go. And of course it's made of wood. It makes perfect sense to make it out of wood. Is it structurally sound enough to actually hold my weight and the weight of itself? I honestly don't know. It doesn't seem terribly sturdy. That's the impression I get. Ah yes, this is the radio. Alright. I've disabled certain things. For instance, the location will no longer be displayed on the map. Let's add a modicum of difficulty to this game. I've also disabled the display of new objectives. Huh. Well, all you need to do is bring up the map menu and you can display the objective anyway. So it's not that big of a deal. But I figured I might as well. Let's investigate first. I understand that the radio is going to be a big part of the game. Ooh, a pine cone! Yes, that's what I want! It was a fun Oglaf script about it. Let's look up Oglaf in Pinecone. You ought to be able to find it. OGLAF, in case you're interested. Although it contains some lascivious content. Supplies for 2 folks. 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 Folks! Yes, of course. 2 folks, look out. Duh. I was wondering, supplies for 2 weeks, surely. But I really, no matter how hard I try, I can't read weeks into that. No, it's the 2 folks thing. The lookout tower. There's a desk lamp here. You can't interact with the fire extinguisher. Can't use it. The power is off. Presumably it has something to do with the generator. It's a cookbook. A cookbook! Before I started the record... Lovely little effect. Before I started the recording, I wanted to promise you that I won't be needlessly blabbering the entire time. And that I will allow you some reprieve to enjoy what little audio the game has to offer in and of itself. Which I will to some extent. I will obviously provide a lot of commentary as far as I can tell anyway. That's a nice bucket. What's happening with it though isn't as exciting. Visual glitches everywhere. Can I pick it up? No, but I can look at it. That's a blue spruce. It's the cottonwood, the lodgepole pine, the aspen tree, the birch shrub, the alder shrub, the mock orange, the sagebrush, the tailcup blue pine, the golden aster. Okay, that makes sense. The filary and the prairie fire. I'm not quite sure how many of those I'm unfamiliar with because of the names, because of the fact that I'm ignorant as far as the flora is concerned, and how many of them I am bound to be unfamiliar with due to the fact that these are not native to where I live, and therefore I've presumably never seen them in my entire life. What do I want to do first? I want to fix the clock. Clearly it doesn't depend on the generator. Why can't I fix it? Come on, batteries were not included or something? If you don't get a button for an interaction, then you don't get an interaction, I guess. Really? That's all you get? A lousy description? Oh boy, oh my. I can interact with the books, and damn it, I will. Glory! Examine. It's a book. If only I could read the blurb. But alas, I cannot. The texture is not of high enough quality. Alright. Let's stop investigating it. Can I? I'm pressing the read button. Can't quite do that. That works for notes, presumably. I want to equip it, and I can't do that either. Can I just put it down over there? No, presumably dropping it on the... No, I just did. Excellent. Singular mine. What's this about? Don't mind your mind alone. Readers will be enraptured by its powerful explanation. The methods of neuroisolation. The quintessential roadmap of mental enlightenment. Intriguing. You can put it back. Alright. Fine, let's push the button.
Hello, Two Forks Tower.
Hello? Presumably you press shift. Hold left shift to activate. Hello? Oh, splendid, okay. Is the pine cone? Examine pine cone. Does it matter if I respond promptly or not? I want to respond promptly, but damn it, I want to examine everything. I'm the inquisitive type, as you know. As you no doubt know. Yeah, throw the pine... Fine. How would she know that I'm... Oh, right, she's noticed the light. Pine cones! Why am I so obsessed with pine cones? Oh yeah, that's right, of course, the webcomic. Pine cone. I'm easily amused, I guess, easily stimulated. Ah, yes, the map table. There's a map, though, that's isomorphic to the map I have here. There really isn't much to do. I've already investigated both the books. I will investigate this one again. Try to read the blood. Oh, there we go. There we go. Have you considered the untapped power of your own mind? Do you often ponder the unexplainable? Am I supposed to be answering these questions? Have you considered the untapped power of your own mind? Yes. Do you often ponder the unexplainable? Yes. Do you find yourself seeing that which is not there? In what... I mean, I do have an imagination, but on the other hand, I'm not psychotic, so let's say no. Do you yearn to explore the labyrinth of your own psyche? That is a very good question. Do I actually? I'm not sure I want to meander over there. I might find things I would not like. Renowned second answers. Rhodes Chair of Psychology. Oh, look, another chair, another human chair. She explores the power of the solitary mind. This incisive but accessible treatise on the power of an isolated psyche unclogs the avenues of our day-to-day thoughts, helping us unlock the psychological potential buried deep within ourselves. It's a book that helps this guy deal with loneliness. And this one? A burning romance... a brutal tyranny. Glory is a story of liberty and inspiration with over 20 million copies. Why do you do this to me? Obviously, in this game, there are very few things you can interact with as it is. And then you can... ultimately examine items closely. You can read things. Why would you put a book with a blurb on the back that you can't quite make out without straining your eyesight? And not due to the fact that you don't have the proper goddamn resolution. Seriously, what sort of a sadist does this? I have the option of ignoring this, having a more shallow playthrough, figuring, okay, doesn't matter what the blurb on the back says. Yeah, it's some Roman stuff, whatever, let's answer the radio. I'm not that sort of person, as you might be able to tell. I want to read these things. If I'm playing a game that's all about this casual bit of exploration, if I'm playing an adventure game or a walking simulator, whatever the hell do you want to call this, then I want to explore every single thing it has to offer. This pisses me off. With over 20 million copies sold and with an American ruling class, that's not something you have in the American society. This only knows growth. That only knows growth and expansion. Yes, and as we all know, growth and expansion are bad because we have to all live in a forest and die at the age of... there is no better time to pick up this modern classic. Ah, yes. The year is 1999. Okay, question. What year is it here where we are? Because we've been getting glimpses of the past, but... there also clearly exists a present. a presence that's independent of that past. Well, it is dependent on that past, but it is not that past. So presumably our wife is dead. And presumably we will have a fiery romance with whoever's on the other side of this radio. Is it my dead, formerly demented wife? No, I'm not playing Silent Hill. I ought to at some point, though. My goodness. Let's not get on so many tangents. I was supposed to promise to not get on tangents. 1999. There are only a few farmers left. Mark Fluft, and his... Oh, this isn't helpful at all. He's holding his fingers over this. Sylvia Runona are two of them. The rest of succumb to a collective management with world governments in a time when collectivism has the man's pant. Nevertheless, by tilling and fertilizing his soul in a manner that only Ruth knows, his farm has this no sign red remained independent, quietly producing the best vegetables left in the United States. See, this is this sort of task. Yeah, a neural network would perform well, would fail on now. Presumably, this is the sort of task a neural network would absolutely flourish in. Try to make these things out and then improvise the most probable word that would appear in that particular sentence based on a corpus you have consumed, yada yada yada. Anything I do on a neural network presumably can do as well. Possibly better. Almost. Almost certainly better. I'm not sure about that. That's a whole nother can of worms. But when the president samples one of Ruth's carrots, Ruth and his wife, is it Ruth? Mark Ruth. Yeah, Mark Ruth. Yeah. Ruth and his wife are quickly subsumed by his administration and brought far closer to great power than he could ever imagine. Ruth now, I don't know, resides as the president's farmer? Brings with it new challenges, and he is ultimately separated from the love of his life, but it is only in these dark times that does Mark realize what he was born to plant is the seeds of revolution for his wife, for America, for glory. Okay, so that's the book called Glory. Oh my goodness, did that strain me. Yeah, I'm supposed to reply. Hello? Release.
Hello? Whoever this is?
It's Henry, right?
Yeah.
I'm Delilah.
Yeah, that's what the guy said on the phone.
So, what's wrong with you?
Excuse me?
People take this job to get away from something. So, what's wrong?
What's wrong with you?
Why did you take the job? Exactly.
That's a great idea. Go ahead.
Look, I just hiked for 2 days, so I don't really follow whatever it is you're doing right now.
You take a stab at what's wrong with me.
Fine, then can I sleep forever?
Sure, buddy. Okay, now go ahead.
You've killed 3 ex-husbands. You're rebelling against mom. Nobody back home can stand you.
Okay, you're probably out here because nobody back home can stand you. Which, after this brief introduction, is not a big shock.
Ouch. I'll chalk that up to you being tired and grumpy.
Well, I'd better get some sleep then.
One sec. Now it's my turn.
Okay, good night, bye.
Let's see. I don't know anything about you, but 9 times out of 10, folks out here simply got dumped.
Simply
Is
is.
that it?
Close?
Good night.
Good night. Welcome to the job.